ICE is out of control. They are terrorizing the streets of the United States. They shot another person in Minnesota last night, and they also injured some children by throwing a flashbang into a car. We gotta talk about this, and we have to talk about what can we do to fight back against this. But before we get started, I want to take a second, ask everybody to subscribe to my YouTube page and sign up for my email list. Those are the best ways to stay in the loop on all things politics with Steve. And without further ado, let's get back to it. All right, so I'm gonna tell y'all what the official story is from these incidents last night. But understand this. We seen multiple videos of ICE agent Jonathan Ross shoot and kill Renee Good, an American citizen and a 37-year-old mother in the streets of Minnesota while she was in her car about to leave the scene. She literally told the agent that shot her to have a nice day as she was leaving. And DHS and the federal government is trying to convince everybody that this was in self-defense. Again, we can see the video, and for multiple reasons, this just obviously was not the case. First of all, he started shooting when he was already on the side of the car. Some of the shots came through the passenger side window, which also demonstrates that he was on the side of the car. And now they're saying that this guy had internal bleeding from his torso. Look, they thought they was being smart with that lie because that's the type of lie that somebody can't visibly see. So they thought they would get away with it. They thought people would believe it. Let me show y'all a visual of this guy leaving the scene.
Shame! 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 Shame!
They really expect us to believe that that guy was run over. Give me a fucking break. I also seen a medical professional say that based on his duration in the hospital, the internal bleeding narrative is a lie. The doctor's point was, according to the leader of the DHS, Christy Noem's account of his hospital visit, his stay was too short for it to be an internal bleeding. Like, apparently, according to protocol, it's a certain amount of time that you would have to stay there and be monitored if he did suffer from that type of injury. Again, I'm no medical professional, but that makes sense to me. With all of that being said, why would I believe anything that the federal government has to say about these latest incidents? We see that their first instinct is to lie and just completely make up facts. If they will distort the facts and create a narrative for something that we all seen on video, I just can't trust anything that they would say. So the story yesterday is that a father was in his car trying to leave the area with his children, and ICE threw a flashbang through the window of the car and injured children. One of the children in this car was as young as 6 months. I want y'all to listen to a witness account of what happened yesterday.
Officers threw flashbangs and tear gas in my car and made I got 6 kids in the car. Lord, my 6 months old can't even breathe. My 2-year-old flipped out the damn car. This was flipped over. My car filled with tear gas. I'm trying to pull my kid out the car.
That's just insane. And now to the shooting. The official story is a Venezuelan person swung a shovel in the direction of ICE agents, and the ICE agent shot in self-defense. It was a shot in the leg, and the victim is in custody and is in stable condition. But again, it's just hard to believe any of this when for 2 weeks almost, they've been discussing Renee Good, who at most is guilty of a traffic violation, as if she's Ashley Babbitt, an actual domestic terrorist. The person that during the January 6th Capitol riots was attempting to get into a blocked area inside of the Capitol building to reach government officials with an angry mob behind her. She ignored continued calls for her to stop and then was killed by authorities. And this administration called her death wrongful, but they say Renee Good's death was justified. Everybody is starting to wake up to this. Joe Rogan criticized Trump's use of ICE, and he literally called them the Gestapo police. Now, this is significant. Joe Rogan got one of the most listened to podcasts in the United States, especially upon younger guys. He's also the person that platformed MAGA during the 2024 election cycle. Ultimately, he helped Trump win the election. But I want y'all to listen to his specific criticism.
You don't want militarized people in the streets just roaming around, snatching people up, many of which turn out to actually be U.S. citizens that just don't have their papers on them. Are we really going to be the Gestapo? Where's your papers? Is that what we've come to? I think after that woman was shot, I think, unfortunately, well, everything's unfortunate about it, right? But one of the real problems is now ICE are villains, and now people are looking at them like murderous military people that are on the streets of our city, and they're masked up, which is also a problem, right? Because if you get arrested by a cop, you're allowed to ask the cop, what is your name and badge number? And you could film that cop. If you get arrested by an ICE agent, you have no such right. They're wearing a mask. They don't have to tell you shit. That's a problem. That's a problem on our city streets, right? Because you could also pretend to be an ICE agent.
And now, full disclosure, I was an actual Joe Rogan listener. I do find him somewhat entertaining when he discussing some stuff, but I'm not like a regular anymore, mainly because of his politics, to be honest. But for the people that don't know, he's like a guy that really likes to pretend he's not with the establishment. He's not loyal to one side or another, and he's just interested in the truth, right? But my main issue with him is he's partially responsible for what he currently complaining about. By platforming Donald Trump and platforming Elon Musk during the 2024 election cycle, he literally pushed them across the finish line, especially Elon Musk. He was on Joe Rogan's show on a regular, just lying about everything. And this isn't the first time that Joe Rogan criticized Trump's immigration policies. Every now and then he break character and do this. Let me show y'all a couple other times he did this.
He said that he wanted to build a wall, but I didn't know that he said that he wanted to get rid of the illegal aliens.
Round them up. Going to round them up.
And do what with them?
Send them back to their country.
Oh, that is so crazy. That's such a crazy idea, and it's so brutal. The idea that, I mean, it's a subhuman thing. The only reason why people would come to America is because they felt like it would make their life better. So people take a big risk. There's not an easy way to do it if you're poor. You don't have any qualifications for any unusual job. I mean, and you're trying to get across to Mexico. But everybody who does it because they want to improve their life. And the idea that one group of people shouldn't be able to do it and one group should just because they were born on the right side of some strange line that is only a couple hundred years old. I would love
self-funding that for a while. Yeah,
I would love it if he got into office and just said, listen, folks, I am nothing like this person I pretended to be to win the presidency. I just wanted to show you that you could be manipulated and get it together.
And he just punked all
no,
of civilization.
I'm going to hire some people who actually know how to run things.
The fact that he's saying that he was hoping that Trump wasn't as terrible as he was on the campaign when he actually took office means that he was well aware that the shit that he said on the campaign trail was crazy and he shouldn't have been president.
Then they start showing up at Home Depot. Instead of like looking for gangbangers, looking for criminals and cartel members, they go to whatever's easiest pickings so they can get numbers up. Do you know Ed Calderon? Do you know who he is? He worked. He was a Mexican military guy who now is an American citizen, but he reports extensively on the cartels, and just was telling me some horror stories about ICE raids. And one of them was they took this guy who had been brought over here when he was a baby, but didn't have American citizenship. His family, came over here illegally, lived here for 20 years, can't speak Spanish. They deport him, send him to Tijuana.
Can't speak Spanish.
Can't speak Spanish. Does not speak Spanish. He is essentially an American citizen. He just never lived anywhere else. He just doesn't have the paperwork. He's not a criminal. They sent him over to Tijuana, and now he has to live in Mexico. He doesn't know what the fuck to do. He's on the streets. Has no idea. He doesn't have any money.
Again, I wish he never gave MAGA his platform to just do nothing but lie during the 2024 election cycle. But I can still applaud somebody taking a look at the facts and giving an opinion like that, especially when it's pressure on him to see this a different way. I mean, you got some right-wing clowns that just will never admit any wrongdoing by anything the Trump administration do. Just take a look at this clown Benny Johnson cheerleading this. All right. So keep in mind, this is less than 24 hours after the incident. He said, clean shoot. First of all, you happy that an agent killed a 37-year-old citizen and a mother for blocking a street? Then he say, this video shows that Renee hit the federal agent with her car. Bruh, his own video showed that that just didn't happen. This is just laughable if it wasn't such a serious situation. And by the way, anybody meat riding the Trump administration for doing shit like this just cannot be trusted. I don't know if this is an attempt to look tough or whatever it is, but this is just corny as hell. Now, this post is from yesterday. This goofy got 4 million followers, and all he do is amplify lies, talking about some internal bleeding from the torso. Again, we clearly know that that's a lie. This just should not be happening in the United States. I'm not trying to hear anything about undocumented immigrants. President Obama deported more than 3 million undocumented immigrants versus Trump 1.5 to 2 million. And he didn't have to terrorize American citizens to do it. That's the difference between Democrats and Republicans. Republicans, they only in it for the theater, not the actual results. And we can see that just by looking at Benny Johnson's post. I mean, I just showed y'all, don't it look like he get a hard on from this? Again, this is not about deportation. This is about creating chaos so that eventually Trump can declare martial law, probably in an attempt to steal the midterms because he know he gonna lose. Now, let's talk about action. I already discussed the fact that Minnesota needs to immediately file charges against any ICE agents that broke any laws, right? I also want to see any state that got a heavy ICE presence mobilize their National Guard to protect their residents from ICE. The National Guard is under the control of the governor of that state. Also, there needs to be political pressure. I mean, there should be nonstop protests in the United States and all around it, not just in Minnesota. People that ask, what's the point of protest? The main power that a protest have is it shows how unpopular a regime is. That's important because people may not understand this, but all politicians care about is the next election. They only do things for their constituents if they believe they will be punished in the next re-election bid. Mass and sustained peaceful protests let lawmakers understand how unhappy people really are. It also helped them see that people really serious about this and they gonna punish you at the ballot box. We also need to pack every town hall of every lawmaker that's quiet about this or that's condoning this. We need to be asking for accountability and making it clear that this anger will turn into votes come November. Unfortunately, the federal government is led by a criminal scumbag. So I'm not expecting any action to come from the Fed in terms of charges or anything like that. But the political pressure will force Congress to act on this immediately. It's also going to create momentum for the midterms. Because if Democrats just win back the House, all of this going to come to a screeching halt.